Hey everyone, it's Dabacabb here, and I am bringing you another Tavern Brawl shoutcast. This week we have the Mystery Heroes. The rules are very straightforward. Basically, it starts you with a random hero, and then if you die, you switch to a new random hero, and you lose all your charge. So to start off, I got Winston, which I wasn't super happy about because I don't like Winston that much, I don't play him that much, so I was perhaps a bit overly aggressive because I guess a little part of me wanted to die so that I could switch out and hopefully get something better. But I think that's actually kind of one of the interesting, subtle things about this game mode. There's actually a lot of elements of this game mode that you might not realize until you play for a little while, but they're definitely pretty apparent once you play for a bit. But I think that this game mode overly prioritizes and favors defensive and conservative heroes. Like, let's compare Genji, who's a very high risk, high reward character who has to go behind enemy lines to succeed, versus Torbjorn, who's very defensive, very conservative, likes to stay in the back. Simply because of the nature of those two heroes, the Torbjorn is far more likely to live than the Genji, which means, kind of inevitably, that the Torbjorn will build up more charge, and he'll be able to get off ults, and he'll be able to get more kills, and overall be more successful for his team than the Genji, who might just die at, like, 25% charge. Got a little bit lucky here. Hanzo's one of my most played characters, and I definitely got on a kill streak and deliver some pain. That's kind of one of the other things. Like, if you get a character that you don't play a lot, then you don't feel a lot of pressure. In fact, you almost feel rewarded if you die, because it's like, oh well, I didn't like that character anyways. I'll just have a chance at someone I like now. In contrast, if you get a character that you play a lot, you feel this sort of pressure, both in that you don't want to die because you're good at this character and you like this character, and in the sense of, like, you want to do well because after, sucking on Winston, I would like to, redeem myself by doing well on Hanzo. So it's not like normally when you have a random hero selection, it kind of feels liberating in a way. You don't have to feel really responsible for your actions. Like, if you suck, oh well, I'm not used to this character anyways, whatever. If you do well, it's like, I'm getting kind of lucky. Kind of like, all random, all mid in League of Legends. It's just very chaotic and low stress, and people don't put too much priority onto it. Whereas in this, because dying will mean you get off of a character you like, then you just don't want to die, and you might actually play a little bit more conservative than normal. Because, this game just prioritizes conservative characters. Unfortunately, I died there to the Winston, who is a pretty good counter to Hanzo, so that's not super surprising. So, one thing that you might think, I got Genji, which is lucky, because Genji's my other most played character, but I think I died pretty quickly, unfortunately. Anyways, so you might think with random hero mode that it would be a good opportunity to learn characters that you don't play that much. That was my first impression, my first guess, like, oh, okay, so I don't play characters like Bastion that much, so if I get Bastion, that'll be a good chance to practice with them. But I actually don't feel like that was the case after playing a bunch of matches of this, for a couple of reasons. First of all, since you lose your charge when you die, you don't really get to make intelligent and strategic decisions about when to use your ult. You basically just need to use it as soon as possible just to get it off of you, so that if you die, you don't waste it. Second, a lot of this game is built around the strategy of when to switch to a character and when to switch from a character. Like, for example, Genji's a really good counter to Bastion, so if they've got a Bastion set up, that would be a good opportunity to switch over. However, since you can't do that in this mode, you kind of lose out on learning that element of the game, which is just as important as learning a character's skills. So, if you want to learn characters that you don't play that much, I wouldn't really recommend mystery heroes. I mean, certainly you'll learn the character better than if you don't play it at all. It'll help some. But if you want to learn a character that you're not familiar with, just do quick play. It'll be more useful for you overall. Oh gosh. So, me playing Mercy, I play a decent amount of Mercy, so I'm okay with her. But this is what I was talking about earlier about conservative heroes. I am by far living much longer with this Mercy than I have with any character before this. And that's because, like I said, this game mode really favors conservative backline characters, because the more you're in the backline, the harder you are to kill, the more charge you build, the better you do. It's kind of snowbally in that way. They've got a Genji and a Tracer who should be able to put pressure on me, but I don't know if they're just like not very good at their characters, or if they're being outclassed by our team. But they're having a lot of difficulty putting pressure on me. They got the Zenyatta there, which is good for them. But I get the res off because I've been alive for so long. My whole team's kind of like that actually. We have a Zenyatta and Mercy healing, and then we have a D.Va and a Roadhog. And I'm not sure how long the four of us have been alive actually, but it's been a while. These four characters. Well, not these four characters. D.Va and Roadhog have some of the highest survivability in the game. Even among tanks, they're particularly tough to kill. And, you know, Mercy and Zen's pretty squishy, but since they're having trouble, they're not able to get to him. And Mercy's super slippery. They got a flanking Bastion, which totally caught me off guard. That's one of the nice things about this mode, is you get really funky, unconventional compositions, like 5 tanks or 3 Tracers or something weird like that. And you can end up with kind of a... Oh, I think I die here. I've got 3 healers coming after me. I guess that's how many it takes to kill one healer. So yeah, if you play a lot of, like, you know, if you play a lot of Roadhog, if you play a lot of Reinhardt, if you play a lot of Mercy, and you're good with those characters, and you get those characters, then you can basically carry the game. Just because you'll be really good, you'll be alive all the time, and you'll play against people who probably aren't super good with the characters that they're trying out. So you end up with basically carries. It's really easy to get carries in this game. One sort of interesting thing that I'd like to point out now, speaking about those 4 defensive heroes, and now we have a Zarya, which kind of exacerbates that even more, is that Mystery Heroes is kind of like evolution, in the sense that your team comp is survival of the fittest. I mean, think about it this way. If you have someone who's doing really well, and someone who's doing really badly, then logically speaking, the person who's doing really badly is likely to die. And if they die, they'll switch characters, and they might get a better character, which means they're more likely to live. So as the game goes on, it kind of becomes more and more stable as people gradually get randomly drawn the character that they're good with, or a character with high survivability, and the team comp kind of like settles down a little bit. Like, since I mentioned it earlier, I don't know how long ago, a couple minutes at least, we still got this Roadhog, we still got me, we still got Zenyatta. I don't know if that D.Va's still around. Is that D.Va right there? Yeah, she's alive. I mean, granted, I'm playing Mercy and I'm rezzing people, so that's helping to stabilize our team comp a little bit more. But that's nonetheless just a true statement about the game. If you're doing well, if your team comp is strong, then it'll just stop being random, and it'll just be, that's your team comp now. This Hanzo and McCree, I don't really remember how long they've been around. I think for a while. I also feel like the defenders have a little bit of an advantage in terms of not dying and snowballing. So I like the randomization. The randomization is fun. It's an interesting game mode, and there's another flanking Bastion. It's just, there are a couple like these little subtle strategic elements that make it not quite as random as I thought it would be. I got Bastion here, which was a lucky pick. He's one of my least favorite and least played characters. I tend to like high mobility characters, so Bastion is a bit of a drab. Lucky me, I got Bastion and Reinhardt, so that's like the perfect dream composition. However, I'm not on voice chat with them, so I think he doesn't know that I left. And also, they got lucky here. They have a couple of really strong counters to Bastion, coincidentally. Zarya can do indirect damage. Hanzo's pretty good. They had Junkrat firing grenades at me from afar. So, it's not surprising that I died there. Alright, that's the first match. We sort of got steamrolled at the end by the flanking Bastion. I don't know if I would recommend that strategy in quick play, but it definitely caught us off guard here, and I kicked our asses. So this next match was actually the very first match of this that I recorded, and I sort of figured that I couldn't post it by itself because I don't ever die in it. But I'm going to show it to you because it's a good example of what I was talking about earlier. Alright, here's the second game mode. As I was saying earlier, this game, Mystery Heroes, can be extremely snowbally. Basically, if you get a character that you're decent with, you can just carry the whole game, more or less. Well, not by yourself, certainly, but you can definitely kick a lot of ass. Roadhog is probably my most played tank, so I am decent with him. I don't do a lot of tanking. Easy kill. So, I managed to go through this entire match without dying. No spoilers. But, I feel like this is worth including because it highlights that part of the game that you just don't realize until you play it, which is if you're good, you snowball. If you're highly survivable, you snowball because you don't die and you gain charge, and that means you're ulting and they're not ulting, and it means the enemy team is dying and your team is not dying, and if your team is not dying, then that means they're getting ults. So one person who does well and gets off an ult or two could enable his teammates to get 1 or 2 ults, which sort of chains down the line such that your team is getting off ults and their team isn't, and that's kind of a deal breaker in this game. So we've got a highly survivable team, two Roadhogs, one Zarya. I haven't really been forward enough to know how well that Tracer is and how survivable the rest of our team is at not dying, but 2 Roadhogs and a Zarya getting healed constantly by the payload while our double Tracers are distracting them and keeping them off of us. I mean, how do you fight that when you can't even control what your team comp is? It's brutal. This match is pretty brutal. So it's interesting. It's random. It's fun. It's a little bit unfair because it's not like any other randomization game like poker. You can't really control necessarily what the cards are. It's random for a minute, just for that first time when you're bad, and then you just keep dying until you get a good character, and then it's not really random anymore. It's just you killing 8 people and then dying once, and then the randomization starts again. So if they really want to do this like random, chaotic, you're constantly changing, I almost feel like a more fitting game mode would be like every time you kill someone, you instantly change to another character, or every 30 to 60 seconds at random, you instantly change to another character, or something like that. Because when you let the player control the reset, which is when they die, then sometimes you just never reset, and it feels like a normal quick play game. I mean, granted, our team comp is a little bit erratic and not ideal, but I mean, for me, this feels almost like a normal Roadhog game. I've still got my ult. I probably should use it now, or not now, but up in this area. But I'm feeling so confident about this game, and how well we're doing, that I don't really feel quite as pressured to do it. I'm a little bit worried because I have a Zenyatta, and he just orbed me, and Zenyatta orb on Roadhog is pretty nasty. So right now I would like to find I can't believe that shotgun blast missed that Venom line. So what I would like to do is maybe find that Widowmaker, hopefully find a good opportunity to ult in this game. Do we ever... Oh no, we did have a Reinhardt, he just died. He Easy pull. That Widowmaker was out of position. I'm guessing they don't play a lot of Widowmaker because getting behind like that is slightly awkward. Easy make kill. Yeah. Man, now we got a Reinhardt, so this game's just not going well for them, man. Throw out an ult. They managed to get a Vera ult under their belt, but it didn't last long because we kicked ass. Now we got a Mercy. Yeah, this is pretty much GG. They're doing their best, bless their hearts, but you just can't handle this level of tankiness on this team, man. Easy. 15-player kill streak, no deaths, with a final hook at the end. So this is a fun mode. I would definitely recommend it. It's more fun than Super Shimada Bros, in my opinion. But it just might not play the way you expect it to play. Alright, well, Dabacabb out.